Will you pray for me? Lord, may the words of my lips and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, because you are our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. If you know that song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. If you do, you might know the lines, through the years we all will be together if the fates allow, hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Right? Have you heard that line before? I bring it up today because today is, as many of you know, the winter solstice. It's the shortest day. It's the longest night. It's the moment where throughout the ages, centuries upon centuries upon centuries, the people have huddled in the darkness and wondered, will this be the year that the night wins? Will this be the time that the day does not come back, where the planets do not go back, swing back in the other direction and let the light come back into the world? You can hear the longing in that song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, can't you? Can't you hear the brokenheartedness in it, the fear in it? I don't know if you know where that song came from. It's from a movie in the middle of the 40s called Meet Me in St. Louis. And it was all about a family who was being torn apart. The father was being transferred to a far place, and it felt like everything was being shredded. And so just before Christmas, the older sister sings this song to the younger sister to try to make her feel better. It's not the song I want sung to me to cheer me up, but it's what she sings in the movie. I bring this up today because it's the winter solstice, partly, but I bring it up today for another reason. I just want to say out loud, I want to have you hear somebody say out loud at least once this season, sometimes Christmas sucks. I know that's not the kind of word you're supposed to use in church, but I want you to hear a raw word, an uncouth word, because the way that your heart can be torn out just before Christmas is as raw and uncouth as it gets. Don't you know? Haven't you survived the first Christmas without someone? Haven't you lived through that first Christmas after the divorce or after the death? Haven't you looked down the long barrel of December and wondered what was going to be fired at you this year? Haven't you tried to figure out how to pay for Christmas presents or for dinner in December? Sometimes Christmas sucks. Which is why I love this song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, because you can hear the longing in there. You can hear the pain in there. It's a song to be sung when everything is falling apart, when the rest of the world is singing holly jolly songs. This is a song that points right at what hurts. But there's something about this song you may not know. Those lines I quoted at the beginning, through the years we all will be together if the fates allow, hang a shining star upon the highest bough. If those are the lines you know, you should know you have been duped. That song originally went like this: through the years we all will be together if the fates allow. Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow. That's what they sang in the movie in the 40s. A few years later, Sinatra decided he wanted to record it on his Christmas album, and he decided it was not cheery enough to sing about muddling through somehow. He wanted it to sound happier, so they rewrote that line, hang a shining star upon the highest bough. He was doing, I don't want to make a villain out of him, but he was doing what I think the world does, which is to tell you that if you have a broken heart in December, you're doing it wrong. That if you can't sing the carols full-voiced, or if you can only sing them with tears running down your face, if you can't manage to send out cards, or you can't manage to decorate, or you don't want to go to any parties, that is somehow your fault. And what you should do is put a brave face on it and just put that star up there and feel good. And if you don't, you are blowing it. But I want to tell you that Christmas exists for the brokenhearted. It started in God's broken heart. It started from God's longing, from God's sense of absence, from God's sense of distance from us. And didn't it start with Joseph wondering who Mary had cheated on him with? Didn't it start with him ready to end their relationship forever, to be the first great divorce right before Christmas? They weren't married yet, but you know what I mean. Didn't it start with an unwed teenage mother? Didn't it start with fear and a flight to Egypt? Didn't it start with a massacre of children? Didn't it start with no place to lay their heads? Didn't it start with being born in a barn? Christmas came because the world is broken. So I want you to know that God knows that sometimes Christmas sucks. And that Christmas is nevertheless God's answer to the world's brokenness, or the beginning of the answer at least. You're not going to get everything on your list this year. Let me just tell you right now. You may get everything you sent on the list to your Aunt Mary, but you're not going to get everything on your real list. People aren't going to come back to life. Illnesses are not going to disappear. Betrayals are not going to be undone. Addiction is not going to disappear. Loneliness will not fly away on the wings of Christmas morning. And yet, it is a start, is it not? It is something, is it not, to grit your teeth and sing to God even when you can't feel it. It is something, is it not, to sing carols with clenched fists, to show up here, to get out of bed. If your heart is broken this year, or every year at Christmas, know this: that's where it started. It exists for you. And if you don't quite believe it yet, if you're not quite singing those long O's and the Glorias as loudly or as fully as you could, that is okay. Because this year, or maybe every year, we will muddle through somehow. Say amen.